NFL stuff.
All right, good morning, folks. Welcome to the first weekly of May. Good evening, Tel Aviv, Kiev. Let's kick it off. Well, there are a few surprises in the agenda, but we'll do the performance update, deep dive, and then finish up with shout outs. Reminder about what it's all about. Life built on passion and purpose, and getting more of these pictures. Empowering the creative economy to do what they want, what they're passionate for, and make sure we get more of those. Interesting week in terms of 7x7s, anniversaries and birthdays. Soak it in. Okay. Lots of open roles. We're going to talk about in a sec about those that closed, but a lot of them here. Product manager, new on the board. Let's get those referrals coming. Okay, talking of which, Liam is at the top, but yes, as everybody has noted, Dan is on the board and strong. I want to say that between the time I looked at it yesterday and today, Dan jumped 3 points. Yes, so Liam, watch out. All right, few closed roles. Nate on MX and Sophia, who some of you will remember is coming back as an intern next week. And then in a couple of weeks, Graham is going to be joining as a web developer. And I have a special guest for a boomerang.
Hey, thank you. Okay, so just a quick announcement. I don't know if some of you know, but I'm Australian, not only Israeli. And when you're born, the first thing you get before you get a pacifier is a boomerang. So I know a few things about boomerangs, and you all know the boomerangs are from down under, right? You know that, okay. So super exciting announcement. Long story short, Lizette is coming back, and her first day is June 4th. Backstory, when Lizette it seemed like a really good opportunity. Obviously, we were very sad and want to be happy for her, and said, you should pursue it, etc. It wasn't, it was a great opportunity, but not as good as she thought. And she said, you know what, I kind of want, my family back, and I want to come back home, and obviously that's music to our ears. One thing is going to be different is she wants to come back as 100% EA, so not going to run the office, but she really wants to focus on what she loves. And I think it's a reminder for all of us, that this is really what we do for our members, and that when people focus on what they love and what is in their superpower, they're really, really happy, and that's what, we constantly need to push for. Definitely with our members and with our team members. I can't be happier, obviously. Thank you.
That was mine. Okay. Quick look at the KRs for Q2, and I'll let Dan take it with the wins and trials.
So despite a relatively strong week on wins, last week we're still pacing around the same trajectory. So we need to improve that. And part of that is because as you look here, the goals get increasingly higher. So even though we did okay last week, it's not quite where we need to be to get on this new trajectory. One thing that's worth pointing out though is if you look just month over month, while wins were below goal, we actually did accelerate on a daily basis the velocity of wins that we're getting. So there was an uptick and a small delta there, which is a positive sign. The other thing, if you look back kind of further on this graph, if it existed, is that it's clear that we've created, a big step up in the trajectory when you look at last year and then into Q1. So we've taken a big step forward, but as you can see here, we need to continue taking those steps forward. And that second step right now is something that teams are actively really working to figure out how we can get that next step up. So across the company, there's a lot of initiatives in play to help us get there, and we all need to kind of keep acting with a sense of urgency to achieve that. When you look at trialers, that's relatively on pace. However, as you can see, by being below on wins, we need to make sure that we're getting productive trialers at the top of the funnel and getting them through to get us the wins that we need. Looking week over week, green across the board, which is good. Like I said, relatively strong week. We had our second highest wins week over the past 8 weeks. So that's good directionally. Visitors were flat week over week, but we saw an uptick in leads from RTS and a slight uptick in trialers driven mostly by paid. Back to you, Tom.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, so we're going to do a deep dive on WeddingSpot today. The high level is that we're not where we want to be. We're not that bad. We're 85%, which is relatively good, but definitely not where we want to be. Our goal is, our KR is 1.2 mil in booking for the quarter, and we're at 365. So let's do that deep dive. A bit about our April numbers. So our KR is 1.2 million for the quarter, and we've sliced it up into the specific months, where April should have been at 360K. And where we ended up was at 302. So 84% attainment, pretty much at the same place that we are today. And let's look at some stats behind that. Now, it actually looked like we were going to end up much lower than that, but the team rallied, and we'll talk about that, in the last week and the last day of the month, and really brought it to that place. Some stats about April. New business, we closed 46 deals that came up to 140K, out of which we had 5 deals, total of 14K that were winbacks. And then in renewals, we had also 46, and interesting similarity in numbers there, for 161K. And that amounted to 67% renewal rate, a bit below where we expected it, still pretty good. Groups, which is our secondary KR to get to 100K in new business for the quarter, we're actually ahead of our pace at almost 15K. Okay, so let's look at some stuff that we tried to do in April and see what happened with that. So first of all, referrals. We've been inspired by the Honeybook referrals, and we wanted to try and replicate that. And the immediate trigger was that we had a lead come in, and actually a venue got closed, that said, hey, we were referred by another WeddingSpot venue. And we saw that and we said, you know what, let's do it. Historically, we've always said venues are not like Honeybook members, they don't share the love, it's not about that, it's not about community over competition, but we never really tested it. So we tested it. Within a week, I think, of when the idea came up, we've emailed 50 premium venues, so our stronger venues, and asked them to refer. And we told them, you personally, or take it to your venue, whatever you choose, get $200 for a closed deal. Drum roll, please. Okay, it was a flop. Okay, so our hunches were true. For now, we will be ditching this initiative, but it took us about 10 days full circle to validate this. So a pretty good failure, a failure, but a good one. Facebook ads. WeddingSpot has traditionally advertised to couples and couples only. And with our results from Q1, we decided to change that a bit and to start experimenting with ads for venues. And our first foray into that area is Facebook, and what you see is the ad. And this is the, excuse me, the very first steps that we're taking here. We started with 60 leads that came in for 3.5K. which comes out to $58 per lead. But that obviously does not tell the entire story, right? These are just leads that came in that filled out the details. This is far from the bottom of the funnel when they actually convert. And so since our sales cycle is a bit longer, I don't have the full details to this. We're still learning about it. What I can say is that we have one 5K contract pending. If that comes in, that in itself is worth it. But we have a lot more calls being scheduled, and we're still going through those leads. So stay tuned for more updates there. So those are 2 initiatives for April. But over the last 2 weeks, we've realized that it's not enough, that it's not really working, right? We got to 84% attainment, 85 today. And we've been storming hard to find the new ideas and the new initiatives that will take us into May and June. A wise and powerful man once said, "It's the economy, stupid." Well, for Wedding Spot, it's the leads. Okay, that didn't. Thank you, guys. All right. Tough crowd. I know. San Francisco left. Okay. So we're focusing on leads, and how do we get more top of funnel leads so that we can close more? So we talked about Facebook. We are going to hit that repeat button on that. Now, I did say we did not fully close the loop and we don't really know that the conversion is there, but the first signs are showing that it is, and so we're going to go hard on that until we find out if we find out that it's not. Second is search ads, also something that we've never really did. We tried it potentially 2 years ago. I'm not advertising for you to go to WeddingWire, but this is an example. Okay, WeddingWire is advertising on their own keywords, right? If you search for WeddingWire, this is the ad you'll get, and it's WeddingWire for vendors. Okay, the first organic result is WeddingWire for couples. This is for vendors. So we're going to do similar things to this. This is something that's ramping up right now, but stay tuned for interesting stuff in this area. Insiders Awards. So over the past few years, we've run the Wedding Spot Awards, and you've heard Crystal come up here and talk about it. The Insiders Awards is a bit different, a bit of a twist, and here we're going to leverage, not going to leverage, we're already leveraging Honeybook members from the wedding vertical to get their recommendations and their nominations for venues. And this is, we want to leverage that as a lead gen mechanism, and that's in flight. Thanks, Steph. Thanks, Nat, for your help. Let's see where this gets us. Now, this is something that's come up quite a bit, and nobody knows our venues or our potential venues, the ones that get on a call and say, you know what, I'm not going to go with you, better than our AEs. And this is something that's been coming up more and more about our contract length. Now, historically, we're 12 months, even more than that. And we've noticed that our competition is actually going to lower than that. Okay, quarterly, 6 month, maybe even monthly for some of them. And this is a bit of a risky area, because obviously if you just flip from 12-month to 6-month contracts, all of our contracts, simple math means you have to book twice as many deals. And we don't believe that this is the increment that we'll get from this. However, we do believe that, at least for some venues, this will be the closing issue. And so for the month of May, this is a tool that we're equipping the AE team to go out there and close with. And after May, we'll see if this is moved the needle or not. But definitely something that we're very excited about checking. Okay, finally, again, there are a lot of initiatives. These are just a few. Didn't want to drown you with initiatives. Proactive chat. We've got quite a lot of traffic coming into our venue sign-up page, but the conversion is rather low. It's about 5%. A lot of them drop off. And what we want to do is actually go after these venues that come to this page more aggressively. Now, excuse the horrible design on this. This is a test that I think we talked about it a week ago or 10 days ago. And just as it's starting, I think in an hour, right? So this is starting today, and the pilot is going to be for a week 1 hour a day that Jess is going to be hounding anybody that lands on the sign-up page and see if this can get us more warm leads here. If it works, I guarantee we will do something with that design. Okay, with that, I would like to switch out to shout outs, but hang on, Martha. As the person here, I will hijack it for a sec. And I'll shout out to the sales and sales support teams in Wedding Spot that with the crunch that we've been in over the past couple of weeks have twice come in at 6:30 and 7 a.m. and took over a workshop to do massive call downs. Pretty awesome stuff. Yes, Martha.
So my shout out goes to Sabrina. When Juliana left, someone had to take over Creative Life, and within a week, and not having basically any knowledge, she turned around everything marketing, and then went the extra mile and project managed everything to have it ready for filming today. And as you can see, you'll have to sign the waivers as well, so just a reminder for that. So thank you, Sabrina, and with insane attention to detail too.
Yes.
I'm very nervous. The talent team has been able to close a lot of our open roles in the past couple of weeks, and that would not be possible if all of you weren't on these interview panels like every single day. So thank you so much for your participation and helping us out. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to ask for permission to come for a shout out. So. Anybody else? Kelvin. All right. Good work, guys. Have a good week.
Nice job. Yeah. For the 6 months.